Fight fans, talking about Carl Prusa MMA. Today I'm with a returning guest to the show. He's getting ready. He's fighting Saturday in Perth. He is the Battle Giraffe. He is Mr. Cam Rowston. He's taking out Robert Bryczek. Cam, welcome to Fight Week, my friend. How are things doing?
Hello, thank you very much. Appreciate you having me. Things are very good. We've got a beautiful day here in Perth. Can't complain about the weather. The weight's good, and I'm just killing time, you know?
Absolutely. So we're here early in the week. It's Tuesday night for me, Wednesday morning for you, the other side of the world right now. What are the vibes like for Fight Week? When do you really start feeling it?
I usually start feeling it on the flight over, you know. I start my water load then. You know, the hard training's done. You just sit on a nice flight and just relax and just kind of just reflect on the training camp, and that's really when it starts to kick in for me, and I get very excited.
Absolutely. So already your third fight here in the UFC, trying to go 3-0. All three of these contests in Australia. Is it pretty cool that we get to do a lot of battle in our home country?
Yeah. I love coming to Australia and fighting. It's a quick trip across the pond, as they say, from New Zealand. Same power outlets, same language. Drive on the left side of the road. It just feels like going to another city in New Zealand, or just going to another location. It doesn't like the travel doesn't take too much out of you.
Absolutely. It's kind of crazy when you look a year from now, a year ago, we were getting ready, probably just finding out you're on the Contender Series, going to do that again. Fast forward, we're now 3-0, could be 3-0 here in the UFC, a couple big finishes. If someone told you after the Torres Finney fight that this would be the future in about 2 years from that moment, would have you believed them?
Yeah, that would have been a hard ask for me to believe them. I would have been very skeptical and questioning them after that Torres Finney fight. It was a little bit of a gray period for me in terms of what I wanted to do. But yeah, it's I guess you could say it is the dream. Undefeated in the UFC.
Absolutely, man. You know, the life of a fighter is a roller coaster. There's highs, there's lows, there's good times, there's bad times. How do you think you have grown and evolved as a person from being in this crazy world of combat sports?
It's a sport where you have to be very self-reliant. Obviously, it's an individual sport when you're in there, but in terms of like outside of training and stuff, it's even at the highest level, like the UFC, there's not that much of a support network. There's you have to source everything yourself if you're living, I guess, outside of Las Vegas, where they have the PI and stuff like that. You have to get your own. You have to create your own team around you. So it's made me very self-reliant and very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's headstrong. Yeah, for lack of a better word, I've got it somewhere in my head, but headstrong is another word for it.
Talking about a support network, your gym is one of the powerhouse gyms in the sport, obviously led by the great Eugene Behrman. You have Brad Riddell out there, Della Maddalena's out there, Izzy's out there. Volkanovski comes sometimes. New 205 champion Carlos Ulberg. What's it been like now being one of them? You're one of them now.
Yeah, it's that's a great list to be a part of. There's myself and plenty of other guys who are also on that list, but we just we don't put too much stock into it. As you said, we're led by the great Eugene Behrman, and he leads from the front with his actions, and a lot of the times he keeps us humble, he keeps us down there, and he makes sure that we're always doing the work before we get on our high horse and start tooting our own horn.
Absolutely. So we're getting ready, returning, taking on Robert Bryczek. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent here?
Yeah, Robert is he's a strong fighter. He's come from the domestic league over in Europe, which is one of the toughest leagues outside of the UFC. He's got that Polish power. That the Polish power is a real thing. His record speaks for itself. I think it's 13 KOs from his 18 wins. very, very tidy boxing, and he's a bit of a Terminator. He just like starts chugging and coming forwards and doesn't stop until he's putting his hands on you.
Absolutely. You know, one thing I love about how you fight, you're always going out there looking for the finish, whether it be sometimes trying to get that guy down, doing submissions with the hands lately. We've seen a lot of it from you. This is the guy you mentioned. He goes out there, he tries to knock people out cold. Is it safe to say going into this one, you're not thinking this is going the distance?
Yeah. You know, I always look for the finish, as you said, but man, I just take the win as it comes. I love the win usually comes via finish for me, but if it goes the distance, it goes the distance. But I'm getting the W, that's for sure.
Absolutely. You know, in this new Paramount age, obviously more people are watching it. There's a more accessible platform, but you also have these like crazy $100,000 bonuses. In my opinion, you've been very, very close on a couple occasions here. You think this could be the opportunity we finally cash them in? Are you even thinking about that?
This could be the opportunity, but as you said, it's a bonus. At the end of the day, it is just a bonus, and I think my main job is to get a win. You know, not everyone can get a bonus inside the UFC and in other jobs, you know, around the world. So you just got to go out there and do your job first and hope for the best.
So with the big win here over Robert, obviously you're going to be 3-0 in the UFC. You feel like a win maybe gets you a borderline top 15 or not a top 15 next?
Yeah, I think borderline top 15. But man, I'll take that. I'll take anyone with a number next to their name.
Absolutely. You know, for you, what's the ultimate goal? What are you looking to accomplish in this sport?
The ultimate goal is the belt, getting that gold wrapped around your waist. That means you've climbed to the highest rung on the ladder. It's not a far-fetched thing to say because I'm coming from a gym where we have 3 world champions, a current world champion. 2, if I include Volkanovski. 2 current world champions, one of the greatest world champions of all time, Israel. Kai Kara France has gone and fought for the title as well. So the system is there to get to the belt. So it's that's the ultimate goal. I just got to commit myself to the system and the process.
You know, obviously you've been training with guys like Izzy and Volkanovski for a long time. You remember when they won the belt recently, Olberg. Did that give you a sense of motivation, seeing him come back with that title a few weeks ago?
It was huge. It was the biggest motivation I've had all camp. Probably like all the camps I've had leading up to this one here since I've been at CKB. It was huge. It was massive. You know, I've been there since I've been at City Kickboxing before Olberg was in the UFC, before he fought on Contenders, and just seeing him go from being on the domestic league, UFC challenger, and then UFC title winner. It's incredible. So I know the work that needs to be done, and it was very motivating.
Absolutely. You know, it's really cool to see that Australia becoming one of those big markets now from the UFC. They're coming multiple times every single year. When you look at it, MMA has obviously evolved and grown everywhere. Australia, it's kind of crazy. Obviously, you know, I remember obviously Volkanovski started out. You had Robert Whittaker. You're tied to Avasas. Now you have so many of you other guys. The regional scene's getting a lot bigger. When you first started getting into it locally in Australia, was the scene anything like how it is now?
No, not at all. It was a lot smaller for sure. There was probably about half the amount of promotions going on. There wasn't really an amateur scene. The IMAF scene was nowhere near around. It was basically you just had professional fights straight away. You're fighting professional rules. If you're fighting amateur, it was just a change in the duration of the rounds. You know, instead of 5-minute rounds, you're doing 3-minute rounds. Yeah, but now it's a proper sport now. There's commissions everywhere, making sure it's safe for everyone. There's different entry level points for people to dip their toes in the water and just kind of like build up. It's and you know you got families going and watching now. It used to just be a bunch of blokes in a like a RSL or like a little scout hall with their tinnies of beer and just yelling, and you know, you'd be warming up backstage next to the guy you're about to go out there and fight, but it's completely different now.
Absolutely. Besides from yourself, there's other Aussies on this card. Obviously, you got Colby Thickness on there. You got Jono McAuliffe. He's on there. Jack Della Maddalena, the main event. Ben Johnston's got some ties to your gym, making his debut. What's it like being with the rest of these guys?
Oh, it's man, it's so cool. It's a big team environment. It's like we're all. These are guys that you see around the domestic leagues when you're in there, or you'd see their teammates and you'd be fighting their teammates and stuff. So you'd be a little bit standoffish. But now it's like it's us versus everyone else. It's Australia and New Zealand versus the rest of the world. So it's so cool just to have like that link up and just the camaraderie with all the other Aussies and Kiwis.
Absolutely. You're starting to get a name for yourself now, picking up finishes. People are starting to know who you are. We have this thing called social media, X, Facebook, Instagram. The casual fans love it. They absolutely live and die by it. Since you're in the UFC now, have you maybe seen any memes, any tweets about yourself that kind of made you laugh or be like, what the heck's going on right now?
Yeah, I've had a few. Probably one of the funniest ones that I've seen was it was me after Contender Series, and I was doing like my little celebration. I was doing the John Cena, and then I hit like the 5-knuckle shuffle, and someone had paused it and taken a screenshot, and I was standing and my arms were extended like this, and it looked like I had no torso because I was like crunched over, and they were saying Cam Rowston living up to the Battle Giraffe name, and it was just all legs, all arms, all neck, no torso. It was a very, very weird screenshot.
Absolutely. Speaking of wrestling, the world of WWE, if you had to compare yourself to any WWE superstar, past, present, do we have any similarities? Do you think your journey resembles anybody?
Oh, geez, that's a tough question. Would my journey resemble anyone's? I am a big John Cena guy, but my journey is definitely nothing like John Cena. I think it would be a little bit like CM Punk, floating around the domestic league for a very long time, and then as soon as he gets into the big show, he just blows up. People love him. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if I'm loved by everyone, but yeah, I would like to think there's a few parallels between me and CM Punk.
Absolutely. Besides being from a fighter, another thing, you're a big country music fan. You like going to country concerts over in New Zealand. Who's on the playlist these days? Who are some of the go-to jam you're jamming out to?
Oh, I went for my walk this morning just to go and get a coffee, and I had the playlist going. Bit of George Strait,
Okay.
George Strait Jr. Yeah, Brooks and Dunn. Treaty Oak Revival. They're always good on fight week. They go pretty hard. And Midland. I'm a big Midland guy at the moment. Got one of my friends is put me onto Midland. So that's on the rotation on the playlist.
You think we're ever going to have a country styled walkout ever?
For sure. Yeah. Once I get over to the States and I get a fight over there, I'm putting something on. Whatever city it is, I'm going to choose the best local country artist from there, and I'm walking out to their best song.
Absolutely. One thing I'm noticing, the Mohawk is back. Is this going to be like a tradition now? Are we bringing this out occasionally, every fight? What are we doing with this?
Yeah, this is my aura farming, as the young boys in the gym have told me. Whenever I get the Mohawk, they say my aura goes up and I fight a lot better. So I think I'll stick with it.
Absolutely. All right, Cam, last question for you, my friend. You know what's coming. In a perfect world, what is the outcome Saturday when you take on Robert Bryczek in Perth?
Like every time, it's going to be a split decision. That's the best win you can get in all of mixed martial arts. 15 minutes of war, blood, sweat. We're standing there. Bruce Buffer says split decision, and then my hand gets raised, and you just get all the dopamine, all the good feelings just come rushing to you at once. That's what I hope for.
Absolutely. With the big win here, do it again in Australia. What could the celebration be like? Are we going to finally get a Cam Rowston shoey?
Yeah, the UFC doesn't. If your name's not Bam Bam Tuivasa, the UFC isn't too happy on you doing a shoey. But there will be a good post-fight speech. I can guarantee you that.
Absolutely. Well, Cam, man, thank you so much for taking time out of fight week for me. I really appreciate it. Can't wait to watch you do your thing, my brother.
No worries. Thank you, Carlo. I'll see you later. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's it for us today. I'm Carl Peruzza. He is Mr. Cam Rowston. You can watch him Saturday. Taking on Robert Bryczek, UFC Perth. Don't blink, fight fans. It's going to be a fun one. Take care.